Today, we're going to learn about my skateboard setup and how you can use it as a base to build your own skateboard setup. One of the questions I get asked a lot is what skateboard setup would be right for you? A lot of skaters are just getting back into skating after taking some years off, and they're not sure that their setups are really up to date. So let me first start off by saying this is skateboarding. There are no set rules. You can do whatever you want. But what I will do is I'll show you my setup, why I write it, and how you could modify it to maybe fit a little bit more your own style. So this is my board here. Full disclosure, I do ride for Elephant brand skateboards. So let's start off with the deck. If we go back a few years, the standard deck size were around 7 3/4. Now deck sizes have gone up. This is an 8.5-inch deck in a popsicle shape. So for popsicle shapes, right now what you're going to find on the marketplace is between 8 to 9 inches. That's basically the standard. This is an 8.5. I always rode decks that were a tad bit wider than most. When people were riding around 7 3/4, I was on 8-inch decks. So why do I ride an 8.5 now? Well, they are a lot more stable at speeds. So for transition riding, it's perfect. But also, if you're doing flip tricks, they are easier to catch. You have a great feeling. And if you're doing like stairs and drops, you have a lot of real estate to land to. So a lot of street skaters are right now skating like 8.5s. And to me, it's just a perfect size. The downside to having a wider board is, of course, it will flip slower, but and it will feel a little bit heavier. But after a few sessions, you will get used to it, and you probably will love it. All right. So this shape has a pretty deep concave and a pretty steep nose and tail, which is pretty long. And that's the type of shape I love. I love to have a board that has, a lot of shape to it. I know a lot of guys prefer flatter boards. My preference, I love to have more shape. So the molds that Elephant brand use are perfect for my taste. All right. So with that said, for trucks, I always ride independent trucks. These are 149s in the raw. I hate painted trucks. They're kind of cool when they're brand new, but as soon as you ride them and they kind of get scuffed up, I think they look like crap. And the raw trucks, they look classy. So why 149s? Well, I always ride my trucks to have like the edge of my wheel just a tad bit smaller than the edge of the deck, just like a hair. That's kind of a formula I found many years ago, and I always stuck with that. So with an 8.5-inch deck, the 149s are perfect for me. All right. But what I do, I swap out the bushings and I put in Bones hardcore bushings. These are the hard ones, but I don't crank down on the kingpin. So they are still pretty loose. Why do I like the hard ones? Well, what I want from my trucks is when I compress them, I want to feel a resistance when I'm just really close to wheel biting. And the hard ones, they give me that resistance. They give me that feedback that I feel that I'm, just about to wheel bite. So it's just perfect. But what I do sometimes is I will swap out the top bushing and put in a medium. So I have a hard one at the bottom and a medium one at the top. I'll do that when I need to have like a quicker turning radius. So for certain bowls and stuff, it's just perfect. But 95% of the times, I'm riding like just the hard ones. And they offer a lot better feeling and more consistent feeling than like traditional bushings. All right. For wheels, I'm using Bones SPF 56 millimeters. These are the Chris Miller model. Why do I use SPFs? SPFs are for skate park formulas. formula. These things are almost impossible to flat spot, all right? I've worked at a skate shop for like 15 years. I've tried a ton of different brands and most wheels just suck. These things are perfect. They are almost impossible to flat spot. You almost need to do it on purpose. And I'm super neurotic about flat spots. I just can't ride a wheel when it's flat spotted. When it goes, it freaking drives me mad. And these things are almost impossible to flat spot. Also, they are super predictable wheels. What I mean by that is they offer awesome feedback in the sense that you can feel like the millisecond between when your wheels have traction and when they have loss of traction. So they are perfect for like revert tricks, or if you're carving hard, you have you know when the wheels are just about to give. So you're pushing super hard and you can feel it. Okay, they're about to give right now. So you can just like back off a little bit. So they're perfect to ride, and these things are super long lasting. These wheels are over a year old. I've swapped them out a few times to try like different brands or different types of wheels, and I always come back to these. Right now it's winter over here, so I'm riding a Masonite ramp. So Masonite is really easy on the wheels, so that's why they're not, they're staying beautiful, but I will swap them out this spring. For bushings, I always ride Bones Swiss. They are the best bearings around. I know everyone says Bones Swiss, and it's for a reason. I won't get into bearings too much because I want to do something separate just for bearings, how to know and know what a good bearing is and how to tell. But that being said, these things are not Bone Swiss. They are Bronsons. They're the higher end model. I think they're the G3s. I wanted to try them out, and honestly, they rock. They're great. So it's a great alternative to Bone Swiss because Bone Swiss are around 70 bucks Canadian, and these things are around 35 to 39 bucks in Canadian dollars. So they're a cheaper alternative. But so far, honestly, I really love these bearings, and I think like 99% of bearings on the market are really crappy, and yeah, most bearings are just crap. So yeah, Bronsons, but if you have the money, Bone Swiss. Also, let's see, for hardware, I just don't give a crap. I mean, they're bolts. Let's not go nuts with bolts. I did buy these. They're the Creature ones because like the back bolts are green, and I'm a sucker because yeah, I love lime green, and it helps me to know where my tail is. But usually I have a cutout in the grip tape, so I'd be a real moron not to know where my tail is. All right, but yeah, they're bolts. And for grip tape, I don't have a specific grip tape brand that I really need. For the last few years, I was using Jessup, but the last 3 or 4 decks I've had always had like mob grip because it was easy to find. And one of my sponsors sent me a few sheets of mob. Rad Racing had some mob grip done with like the Rad Racing logo, and mob was really good. One thing I do hate is like the extra grippy grip tape. They have this grip tape with like super dense grip tape crystals, and these things will wear out your shoes in a few sessions. So yeah, Jessup or standard mob is perfect. There are a lot of new grip tape brands out there like Grizzly and stuff. I haven't tried them all out, and I kind of have like this mental bug of paying 20 bucks for a grip tape sheet. I think it's kind of a steal. So standard mob and standard Jessup, they're perfect. And for years I was riding rails on my boards, and the last 2 or 3 boards I've had did not have rail. Why is that? I love rails because to do board slides in transitions, you can do huge board slides, no problems, and it's super fun. But the downside to that is if you're doing disaster tricks, it's a lot less stable. And the new ramp we have here, which is concrete, has super slippery copings. So doing a disaster trick with rails on a ramp like that, it's a suicide. So that's why I have not been riding rails for the last few boards. But if I'm riding like a bowl and I want to do like huge board slides, yeah, rails are fun, you know, but that's the thing. Every good thing has a downside. So the downside is stability on disaster tricks. So how can my setup be used as a base for your own setup? So most of the decks on the market right now are between 8 to 8.5s. It's the norm. You know, you have wider and you have shorter, but the norm is between 8 to 8.5. So with an 8.5 inch deck, I ride 149s, but you could also ride 159s on that. If you wanted to go for a deck width that's smaller, I would drop to 139s for trucks. A few years back, people were riding 129s. I wouldn't go down that much because you have a lot less stability. It's really small 129 for like an 8-inch deck, in my personal opinion. All right. And if I would go for a wider board or a reissue board, I would use 159s or 169s, depending on the size that you chose. And also for decks, right now is an awesome time to buy a deck because you have a lot of options. You're not limited to popsicle shaped. You can buy reissue decks, which are basically shapes from the 80s and 90s. You can buy also weird new shapes, like Elephant Brand has the Street Axe, and Welcome Skateboards has some awesome like weird shapes. So, you know, you're not limited to just popsicle shapes. For wheels, if you're riding like skate park and doing a lot of flip tricks, and you know you're riding on a smooth surface, you could go down to 52 millimeters easily, between like 52 to 54. I ride 56 for transitions. I want it to be a little bit quicker, and I love 56. And you can flip 56, no problem, but it will be a little bit heavier. If you're riding like huge transitions, you can go up to 58 and 60 millimeters. But the thing is, if you're going up to 58 or 58 or 60s, you probably will need some riser pads. And I hate riser pads, so that's why I'm riding in like 56. It's just a good compromise for me. Because if you go higher than 56, there's a huge chance that you will wheel bite like crazy. So just be careful with that, all right, guys? So yeah, that's my setup. Hope it helped you out. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Send a question in the comments below. And also, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It would help me out a lot. I want to put out a lot more content for you guys, a lot more like trick tips and stuff like that. I'm not going to give away too much because I don't want to sell it right now, but yeah. So leave a like, subscribe. Hope this helped you out. Have a good day, guys, and go and skateboard. And just remember one last thing. This is skateboarding. There are no set rules. Do whatever you want, all right? Have fun, guys.